is I can do better. And I want to make a video about this one here also, because it's blatantly just Joe lying. He haven't watched his own clips. He's then raging about what was going on, doesn't actually know what's happening at all, and he's proving that in the entire video. Down here we have that he also says, even if I was wrong about something, you could politely tell me I was wrong, and if it's true, then that would help me. Someone said already, I don't think you understand how the sound works in the game. I'll explain it in a way that you can even test it yourself. Go to the shooting range with a friend. Have your friend crouch 10 meters away from you. He doesn't need to crouch. And not make a single sound for about 10 seconds. Tell your friend to aim down sight, and you'll hear him very loudly hold his breath in. When both of you shoot, fire one shot each. Tell him to aim down sight straight after, so fire, aim down sight. And the noise he makes is substantially quieter. Like, Joe, as you can see, 9 comments in total, and Joe's like initial, but these are things I've disproven before, blah, 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 blah. So people are politely telling him why he's wrong, and he doesn't know the functionalities of the sound in game and such shit. I just want to show that no matter what you do to inform Joe, he will always think that he's right. I will do first clip, then talk.
Hey guys, Joe Blue back again with another episode of Filthy Hunt Cheaters. Sorry I've not done a video for a while, man. I've just been taking it easy, chilling, waiting for my computer to come back from being repaired, which there is an update on that. I did post on my X saying that they have found me a replacement 4090. I feel like I'm actually being scammed a little bit here, but it seems a bit convenient that they just happen to have a 4090 when they started trying to offer me options to downgrade or pay more to upgrade to a 5090. Anyway, I'll discuss it in another video, whatever. But either way, I should be getting my computer back sometime within the week anyway, so we should be getting back to streaming and content and all that stuff. But first, we're going to have a few clips here of my favorite kind of videos, the no footsteps. I swear, since the so-called new audio engine to fix those footsteps, there's just way more instances of people having no footsteps whatsoever. So we're going to be watching this clip here, and I'm going to show you the most incriminating parts of the video, and there might even be some bits I might just pull up on this video that happened earlier that suggests that there's no footsteps going on here. But
as you can hear, that he tries explaining that after the update there are way more no footsteps. But hey, someone already told you can actually test it. The audio changes in the shooting range, and you don't care about it. So this shows that you're misinformed about the updates. This shows you're misinformed about what happens in the game. Now for the clip itself.
Yeah, I've got 3 clips. This is the first one, so check it out. Okay, so we spectate to my partner. And as you can see, this player in the Alice skin just came around that corner, like no footsteps, shooting from behind. Let's go back and just watch a little bit of this again. So this is me getting revived up here. Oh, sorry, me reviving my partner, I think, here, and then I get shot. So, see where the Alice is. Like, see her there. You saw her move right there, but you can't hear it. So when I go back, you can't go back on this. So let's just watch this again. So if we just see where the right, so they're right behind that shelf there. This right behind this bookcase or whatever that's overturned. They step out. I mean, people will probably say, "Oh, well, it's the gunshots making the footsteps not be heard there." Maybe, but I'm pretty sure you would have heard something.
He already admitted that the gunshots is actually obscuring the audio, so there you have it. For the first moment here, absolutely nothing wrong. And as the other person said, you can literally test it in the shooting range to see whether or not that actually is the case. Just make sure that you also have your teammate behind the obstacle. Like Joe's already wrong there. He's admitting it even, but doesn't want to have it be the truth. So maybe, I'm not sure. Like he already knows that would be the case. So yeah, just completely dismiss this here because you're being deafened with a weapon.
I'm literally getting shot through walls here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
No.
that's what it feels like. 9 meters to.
Reality doesn't care about what you feel.
From distance from the target. It doesn't say I was shot through a wall, man, but I don't know where they're getting the angle on me.
The door.
And no one's like moving. Like I don't know how he's shooting me. But yeah. Right. So here we are inspecting. So here are the footsteps of this guy. Get shot through the door. So we know that this guy's run off around here. I think you hear some footsteps here. So you hear a gunshot there at least. I think you might have heard footsteps just preceding those shots, but I'm not 100%. We'll go back and just check real quick.
Let it play, let him show his stupidity, and then I will highlight why he is blatantly wrong.
This guy here. Yeah, there is some footsteps there just as the gunshot comes out here on the left. So there's footsteps there, footsteps here. This person ran off this way. Footsteps here. This guy's shot from this angle here.
No footsteps over there.
So there must be in this doorway here.
Doorway?
Just go back frame by frame, see if we can get maybe a glimpse of them moving, so we can get solid location of where they are.
You can, spoiler, you can actually get a solid location of where they are. You just don't care about actually showing it, because that would prove you don't know what is happening in the game, and you don't know what sound clues are.
Pretty sure they're like, I'm pretty sure they're like in this doorway.
Oh.
Okay, a little bit further left of the doorway. I don't know how.
Not even a little bit further, like it's a fair amount further, but Joe shows his stupidity now.
How they're shooting this and seeing it, like they're predicting. I'm pretty certain they've both got wall hacks. Fairly convinced, or at least one of them does. Probably this Alice who has the no footsteps, right? Right, so we've got footstep.
So now he skips it. I will just quickly show you here why he is so wrong. Character he couldn't find is standing right there. Standing. As you can see here, she's still right there, getting into light, into view right there. As I said, if he shows this, he will prove he doesn't know what's happening in the game. The character is standing the exact same position the entire time. So Joe showing this here would actually show he doesn't know what is happening in the game.
So they're like, I'm pretty certain they Alice who has the wall hacks. Fairly convinced, or at least one of them does. Probably this Alice who has the no.
The Alice that has the no footsteps because they're standing completely still. Yeah, right.
Footsteps, right. Right, so we've got footstep. What roundabout here? Let's go back again. Left. Time. Okay, I think that those footsteps there are about here.
They are roughly there, yes. Roughly. Maybe a little further over, but this general position I do agree. However, look at the angle you're now looking from down here over, right? Even out here would mean that when your teammate moves over here, that is then further over in the corridor because you need the line to match through.
So this dude's about here, somewhere here. So he goes to run because he's heard those footsteps here, and he's thinking that somebody might peek, but he doesn't hear any footsteps. He knows about they.
Yeah, see, he still says the footsteps are about here. So changing the angle apparently randomly moves the enemy character further to the right. So there's also some disconnect in positioning within Joe's world, but like it's stupid.
He probably thinks it's not that much of a threat. So he goes to the footsteps that he can hear over here, which is this other dude. And then they just come around this corner from about here, from about this position. They come all the way down there and around the corner, no footsteps. And this is where you know that at least this person must have wall hacks, right? He's communicating to his partner saying, look, you make a bunch of footsteps over here on the right, so he will think you're the immediate threat because you're moving. He'll look for that side. When he turns around to go to wait for you to come around, I'm going to run around here with no footsteps and shoot from behind so he can't react to it. That's the play that they're making. You can clearly see that that's what's happening.
We can clearly see that that is the case you need. Otherwise, your conspiracy theory would never hold and your lies would never fit. Because if it simply just is Alice was crouch walking over, you can even hear the slight footsteps as Alice turns around the doorway, then your lies, if that's what you're saying, then your lies would not stick with the no footstep epidemic. But hey, you need like to create phantom things all over. So again, completely disprove this part here.
And there you go, shot. I can't remember what the other guy's name is.
Completely irrelevant. You don't need to name and shame people. So I will skip onwards to the next part because this is completely irrelevant. There's nothing there that has any value. I will just make sure that we are having the correct position.
Right, so here we are on clip 2. This is a next decent one. We'll probably cut some of this out just to cut it down a little bit on time, but we'll unmute.
This here is a super horrible one. It actually shows that Joe have no clue what is happening in the game, and he should stay away from Hunt Showdown. It indeed proves that. So this year I will show the first part, and then I will let Joe talk about the second part. I'll talk show the first part, talk about it, show the second part all the way through, and then just highlight it a little bit because Joe have so much ignorance he wants to share.
Mute this and we'll have a little look on this. So I believe I'm just waiting here because I can hear somebody. That's what I think. They've heard they can ping somebody. I know there's somebody over here because I heard them. I already accused somebody of no step cheating already. I don't have that on recorded on the clip. I think it's this guy that I'm waiting for here. Go back. Okay, so I can hear him footsteps there. So I kill this guy. He's a solo, so he ends up self-reviving. And the other team comes in. These dudes are actually pretty sus. These dudes that come in. These might be the dudes that I originally was calling no footstep cheats on. Originally, maybe, because they approach with basically almost no sound. So we've got these dudes over here, and then this cane skin revives behind me. So that the cane's revived. You hear his footsteps there to the left. And how is that not a headshot? Is that not a headshot? Let's watch that again. It does go over. It does go past the head just a little bit. Close though. Close headshot. But you see here how he's ran off there, and like I couldn't really hear him move off. Yeah, gunshots, but like gunshots don't obfuscate footsteps for that long of a period of time. Like 2 shots, sure, 1 shot, and then just as the fade away was about to happen, another shot comes in, obfuscates it again. But by now, I should be hearing some kind of movement, and they move a fair amount of distance that I should have heard at least the tail end of some footsteps. Okay, I did hear footsteps. Footsteps there. And then here comes the interesting part, right? So he throws the high.
So this is the first part, and I just like so much to unpack in this clip here. Let me first say that the reason why he was crouching here, as Joe mentioned, he was a solo. He opens the door from the side because there's a peek hole here. The door is on his side, so there's an advantage from the hole here. The further over to the right he is, the more this opens up for him to show. Look, that's why he goes over there. Joe will come back to that at the end of the clip, somewhere down here. Yeah. Then the stupidity of him here not reacting to the self-revive.
So we've got these dudes over here, and then the.
He shoots twice, then you can hear that Kane takes a breath on his left side. The stupidity of him not reacting to that at that moment is pure insanity.
Yeah, this Kane skin revives.
He revived right there.
Behind me.
You can see how slow he is and doesn't even react to it until right now when Kane starts moving with clear footsteps.
So that the Kane.
Because you can see he actually moved out, Joe moved out to cover for these guys out here, and Kane just started moving away. Again, the pure insanity of ignoring a player.
Revived. You hear his footsteps there to the left.
And this here, like, him thinking that it's a headshot when, I fucking damn it, him thinking that it's a headshot at this moment here is to me funny. First and foremost, right now you're under the head position, so no, it would never be a headshot. This dot here is the side. This is where you need to aim, not up here. This section here being too far to the left doesn't matter. This one here was never there. If you move this further up, it might actually have been a headshot because you are at the edge of the head. Yeah, like, why do you even need to react to that?
It does go over. It does go past the head just a little bit.
No, it doesn't. In fact, if you simply had moved it further up, it would have probably hit the head, as just said. But yeah. And then the insanity of him doing this here.
Like 2 shots, sure, 1 shot, and then.
Exactly. Listen to it. 1, 2. So 2 shots with a decent amount between. He's bleeding, he's got hit, he's screaming. Let me show you here. Let me do this. I just slowed it down. You can see here. Shot. Moving around. Shoots again. The shot and the hit he took obfuscates the movement from here to over here. Then Kane disappears and Joe shoots again, thus completely silencing out anything and everything that would indicate where the Kane went.
The way was a kind of some footsteps.
And now he actually admits that there are footsteps coming from Kane and that the deafening from the shots are now gone.
Yeah, I did hear footsteps. Footsteps there. And then here comes the interesting part, right?
So he says, did hear footsteps there, did hear footsteps there. Now he's indicating that the deafening audio, the deafening function inside the game is actually working as intended. It's annoying in cases like this where you would like to have that extra step, but yeah, Okay, watch this part here.
So he throws the hive bomb up. I go around and stop the bleeding. Get out of range of the hive. Listen for the footsteps. And then the dude's down here waiting on the exact angle. I died to the hives there. So we go back. So we come out here. Right, so we hear the nade. We know roughly whereabouts he is. Footsteps. Right, and then you hear a running on wood, one step of running on wood through here somewhere around this vicinity. Around this vicinity here. And then no footsteps. And then he's literally here, standing on the exact angle, going to the perfect position, no footsteps, just waiting at this window here. Let's go back again. Right, footsteps. You hear that? There's some kind of footsteps on wood around this area. Nobody else here. And somehow he's ran from upstairs, down the stairs, down to here, waiting directly on this window for me to show up, and then bangs me out. One more time. To me, like the grenade, the footsteps on mud make it sound like he's actually outside, like on the left-hand side, like because I hear nobody footsteps behind me chasing me or to come around to where I was, so there's no footsteps there. No footsteps to say that he moved in place for throwing this nade. You can see my mate's inside at the back in the room, so he's not outside to be making sounds on like wet mud. So we've got this grenade being thrown here somewhere up above me, up here somewhere, and then it sounds like on mud or something, or on grass or something, and then some footsteps around here on wood. And then he's just there waiting. No footsteps, no nothing. Just happens to be there waiting on the perfect angle for me to come, as if he's got no footsteps and wall hacks. And then people go, but you shot him through the door earlier and he didn't use wall hacks. I know you were there. Well, one, it did kind of look like he knew I was behind that door.
No.
We can go back and watch. He opens the door and he doesn't open the door like front on. He goes to the side, opens the door and steps out as if he knew I was there.
As if he's a solo that needs to take care. Okay, Joe went through all of it. I can make it super easy and super simple to understand. Here it comes. First try. Joe said he could hear footsteps down here.
Then here comes the
hive is now outside, being thrown up here, as you saw before.
The interesting part, right? So he throws the hive bomb up. I go around.
The hive is destroyed there.
Stop the bleeding. Get out of range of the hive.
Right now, he's still outside. He is seeing where Joe is going, so he's not moving like super much. He's trying to listen. As being said down here, don't make a sound for like 10 seconds, and other things will be more clear. He just shook the hive next to his ear. Now he wants to, quote unquote, reset the audio.
Listen for the footsteps.
That made noise, he can hear that, so he's now getting in position to do the dynamite. As Joe said, he can hear footsteps on the mud to the left of him. Well, that is because he's actually outside. Like I just said before, he's still outside from after throwing the hive. Joe stepping on the planks down here. The plank Joe heard, the wood Joe heard, was the planks over here when Joe steps on it. He just needs to lie about it being up near the hive, nothing else. Planks Joe says he can hear as being inside, which is why he looks up here. The dynamite was thrown here, which slightly deafens Joe still. But as he turns around and the hive comes closer to him, you can actually hear the footsteps of someone going in from the doorway down there. Slight footsteps of someone literally going in here. That's done because he heard the hive also being activated, and that Joe ran over to the planks. So he needs to take cover. He doesn't need to fight Joe in the open. He needs to fight Joe with cover. Joe is then running into the open rather than taking care of the hive. And that's how he positioned himself right here. He was outside throwing the hive. He went like here to make sure Joe wasn't seeing him. Unfortunately, Joe's partner never cared about supporting Joe's angle or holding his angle. He could have watched him go over here with a dynamite, making sure Joe had time to heal. They need to communicate way better. Through the dynamite from over there, you heard footsteps going back. Joe said he was outside. Then you heard the footsteps on this plank here. I will go back so you can hear it one more time. Before Joe turns out. And he's there. I'll go slightly further back. There we have it. Easy to explain, simple game mechanics. Just horrible play by Joe, needing to be something that it's not. Him saying that he magically go... Fuck, I did it. Joe saying that the guy magically went from upstairs over here down and then over here with no footsteps. That's completely blatant lies. Because you could clearly hear the audio from the wood going in here, together with Joe admitting that he was actually outside. So there's absolutely no way, unless he had teleport, that it would be possible for this guy to do what Joe claims that he is doing. So this here is just purely excuse making for Joe's bad plays. I will go over to Joe's next part because we already watched all this here, together with Joe needing to, for some reason, to show this one here, which confused me. It's just a fun little extra.
Perfect sense. And got one more clip. This one's not quite as a strong one, but we'll move on to this last third clip. Okay, so we've got this third clip here of some dudes basically that seemingly one of them has no footsteps. So listen to this. So I run in here. That's a completely different person, not the duo I'm engaging. So and then this guy here who steps out left and right with a bow trying to bow me. You can only ever hear this one dude here. This guy seemingly is moving around without making any noise.
Just want to quickly interject. Joe actually will admit that you can hear both footsteps. So this here is further evidence that he's not watching his own clips, making sure that what he says is actually correct.
Noise seemingly, because you can only hear one of them. And even when he comes around the other side, like it seems like he also has no footsteps as well. I mean, yeah, people are shooting, they kind of obfuscate the country as well. But he steps out multiple times here, and you don't hear a single step from this guy. And the clan name are called Unlucky. I mean, that's the most cheaterish clan name that I think I've heard in a long while, and they were both called Unlucky. This is the dude that killed me, but the guy with the bow also had the Unlucky clan tag. A little bit like less of a
Very much conspiracy theory and absolutely nothing else.
a foolproof, hey, there's no footsteps going on here, but it does seem a little bit weird. This guy can basically sidestep multiple times left and right, and he doesn't make a single footstep at all, and then seemingly runs around the other side with no footsteps. Granted, there is a sticky a grenade going off at the same time that does obfuscate some of the footsteps, but I'm pretty sure you would have heard at least the beginnings of some footsteps or the tail end of some footsteps, and not the entirety of the footsteps being obfuscated entirely. Let's just go back and watch one more time. So it's possible you do hear two sets of footsteps here.
There you have it, him admitting that he was actually initially wrong because he doesn't watch his own clips, and yeah, just I will let it continue now.
Like one running in, another one just running basically to his location, and basically sitting both on the same location. One of them runs left, then the other one seems to step out with no footsteps on the right. I mean, honestly, it almost seems like the guy on the left also seems to step out with no footsteps as well. Because I wasn't really expecting the left dude to be there when I jumped around, because I heard his movement stop up to the left of the mountain, like rock. And then as I jumped around, I sort of just saw him, and I had no audio to react upon. The guy just both seemed to come around corners at the exact moment with never making any footstep noise at all. So he comes round, poking around the side, no footsteps. Then he comes round the left, also seemingly making no footsteps. And as I've proven many times before, the cooking of the nade does not obfuscate footsteps.
Let me prove that being the case. Now listen to the footsteps, and as the fuse of the dynamite starts happening, listen to the footsteps again. Listen to Joe's footsteps. In fact, let me go further back just before he says that. Listen to Joe's footsteps rather than the enemy's. Joe's footsteps. And then as he turns on the dynamite, activates the dynamite, starts the fuse of the dynamite, whatever you want to call it, listen to Joe's footsteps.
And as I've proven many times before, the cooking of the nade does not obfuscate footsteps.
Even Joe's footsteps becomes so much more subtle. Joe's footsteps are directly at him and yet are still affected by the fuse of the nade. Dynamite. Sorry. Fucking hell, Joe. It's a dynamite, not a nade. It's not a grenade. It's dynamite. They are called something for a specific reason, so we know the differences. This guy's here, also being obfuscated by the audio of the fuse. The other guy, Joe heard him here, obviously being obfuscated by the audio of the fuse being lit, and he's being blocked by the trees. He's being blocked by the trees, so Joe are not entitled to see him instantly. Joe fat-fingered over to his vitality shot, and then over to the dynamite. My key binding wasn't set properly. I placed them in the wrong spot. It absolutely does not matter. You can hold the key bind for the other one and then swap the places while mid-game. So that's absolutely no excuse whatsoever. Now I will go back. There's one here to the original one so we can have a clean playthrough. It's easier if I just do... Okay, this is it. Now, as I said, listen to the fuse, listen to Joe's footsteps. Now you will be aware that the fuse in itself is actually obfuscating the sound of footsteps and other audios.
So and then this guy here who steps out left and right with a bow.
You heard that. And then we have the fight afterwards. There. Listen to Joe making a shot. This guy here shoots once, and then Joe shoots, then shoots twice. First, when this guy shoots, it's a clear audio. Then Joe shoots, muffles the audio because he's now being deafened. Then listen to the shots one more time, then you will have proof that shooting yourself is deafening. The bullet changed, the sound of the enemy shooting changed after Joe was shooting. It's actually 4 shots, but I can make it even more simple. Inside the shooting range, this is just to showcase that Joe actually doesn't know what it is he's talking about. As you can hear, the shots are being more and more and more and more and more muffled. Now, the only ones that I have tested that didn't actually do that was silenced weapons of sorts. That one, thank you. Still levering to make it fast, shoot faster and such, to highlight the part. All shots were easy to hear. All shots super easy to hear. Here, even a pistol. As you can hear, the audio is being being lower, more muffled, the more shots you're doing. And this is what Joe doesn't understand. Audio in Hunt works as intended. Whether or not we like the way the audio works, that does not matter whatsoever. But listen to Joe's footsteps again and listen to the gunfight. Now for the gunfight. You can even hear the enemy's shots being muffled as Joe also starts shooting. But these here are random magical no footstep parts where Joe refuses to admit that he's wrong. It's not me, it's them. They're all out to get me. The fact you have to take a side against me rather than supporting me already proves you must be a cheater. No, Joe. Being against you just means we care about reality. We care about the truth. Calling random peoples for cheaters just because they kill you in a game, that's not supporting someone trying to expose cheaters. That's supporting a pathological liar. It doesn't matter how many times you try lying about this, it will not change. Reality will not change purely to soothe your emotions. This here is why you're not better at Hunt, because you need everyone to be doing something that they are not. Cheating. I'm not saying there are no cheaters in Hunt Showdown. I'm not saying there are no cheaters in Apex, Tarkov, you name it. I'm not saying games have no cheaters. I'm saying roughly 90% of all your content doesn't show cheater. I can potentially even say 95% of all your content doesn't show any cheater, because it's just you having an emotional outburst, nothing else. In this moment here, what you should have done is listen more carefully, because even before this clip here was started playing the first time, you actually thought there were only one set of footsteps. You knew it was a duo, but you only thought there was one set of footsteps. You then continue to actually admit that there are two, which proves you are completely ignorant about what's going on. Again, there's not much to do about your actions in this situation, because you thought there were only one person and then went out here because the one person you cared about was the one down here. Had you now actually played just a tiny bit better, it's not even like any like big difference. Big difference. Had you played just a tiny bit better, you would have rotated over to the right, because the dynamite would then take this guy's cover out of position. You would have been ready for this guy here at this position, rotated around together with the dynamite. You would have made it your advantage. For that matter, you could potentially have taken cover inside the tree and revive your friend. Done something. I'm mistaken, you cannot. He's red skulled. You don't have the bounty. My mistake, I didn't notice that detail. You needed to rotate to the right, regardless. You knew it was a duo. You start out by saying this is a duo. You ignoring the set of footsteps does not make them silent. It just makes you completely ignorant to the game. Oh, again, Joe, try and take what people says, do it, test it, because this here is a very polite explanation of how things works inside of Hunt. You have even said, even if I was wrong about something, you could politely tell me how I was wrong, and if it is true, then that would help me. That was done down here. You didn't give shits about it, so being polite to you also does not help. That is why I have made this channel. I tried being polite to you at the very beginning, telling you this here is where you're wrong, this here is where you're wrong, this here is where you're wrong in a single video. And you're like, nuh-uh, I need to be right, you're lying. You don't care about catching cheaters. Calling yourself the anti-cheater is just jumping the bandwagon of the amount of cheaters that's in a game, and your excuse for having these emotional cry outbursts and nothing else. I sincerely want people, I don't have the time, I don't give a fuck about it myself. I don't want to look through all this myself. Huge does it, Very Bad Scat does it, there are others that also do it that I cannot take at the top of my head. Like, people do watch gameplay in order to catch cheaters. I want cheaters to be permanently banned. Account, credit cards, social numbers, if they have that, like, you name it. They should never be allowed in any online MMO, RPG, PvP, PvE, co-op sort of scenario. Cheaters should never be allowed to play with others. They should forcefully be staying in single player games. Yes, that is my honest opinion of what should happen if someone cheats. I don't care if you cheat once, twice, 1,000 times, or just cheats to test it out and see. Cheaters should just not be allowed. If you want to catch cheaters, then you need to somehow explain to the government or the game devs that I want to test this out in order to have the required knowledge to expose actual cheaters and help them out. I don't care. There needs to be a way to permanently ban any cheater from the entire part of the gaming society.